Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you, getting into my weekly check-in, week 3 for November. Week 3 for me is the 15th of November to the 21st of November. I am filming this quite late. It is actually Saturday, so we already have some transactions for the next weekly check-in already happening, but as you can see, it's kind of sparse here than what I normally spend on a week basis, and so yeah, we're just going to get into it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm excited to have you here and sharing my budget every week and how I keep track of everything so I can stay on top of it, the income that comes in and the transactions go out. It's a labor of love. It's not really hard and it doesn't take a lot of time for me because I'm just in a habit of doing it. But if you're new, weekly check-ins are a great way to see if you're still on track for your budgeting and what's left in your account in order to take care of the needs for you and you or your family. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. I already have my little list here of what I spent. I wrote it all out. Hopefully I got it correct. If not, I will fix that. Here is my weekly check-in page, and this is the week that we're doing. I take the previous balance of the last week we ended and start with that as my new balance. For the budget. Now, because the way our income comes in every month, 80% of it comes in on the first of the month, and then I just have to track it through, which is why I'm very diligent on tracking our expenses so that it can be spread out evenly or close to even throughout the month. And this month is a 4-week month, not a 5-week month for me, and this is basically what I'm looking for per week of spending. I can go a little higher as long as I know the next week I should go a little lower. Things like that. And this last week is a lot lower than I normally do because my vehicle was in the shop and I had nowhere to go. And I couldn't spend. So I didn't want to buy a large amount of groceries and have my father help me pick them up and bring them home. My husband has a small Jeep, so when we did go to the store and get some items, there was only so much room in the back of that. So, things like that. And thankfully, this gave us time to go through our pantry, go through our freezer, and use up what we have more before we bought more groceries. So you will see, I spent a lot once I did get my car back at the grocery store, and Thanksgiving's coming up next week. So I'm happy to Thanksgiving a little early to all of you. I don't know if I'm going to get another video up to say that, so, thankfully that. I probably will have a bunch of videos going up Thanksgiving weekend just because I'm going to pre-record some of them and get them ready for December and closing out sinking funds and things like that. And I have a lot of transactions in my sinking funds, probably thousands of dollars in sinking funds coming out. So I almost wiped all my sinking funds out. I will explain that in that video. So hit that notification bell so you can catch that video. Go ahead and like and subscribe and you'll get to see all that adventure coming up. And I still haven't even Christmas shopped yet, and that's part of my sinking funds. So a lot happening and a lot going on. So let's go back to the calendar where I track all my spending. These are just for my categories: grocery, household, restaurants, miscellaneous gas, copay, and unbudgeted. As you can see, I have a little bit of everything except for gas and unbudgeted. So that's where we're going with here. And I have 0 there, so we're good to go. All of our spending goes onto a credit card. Then I pay the credit card weekly. I usually say I pay off the credit card weekly, and normally I would, but we went on vacation earlier this year and I put it all on the credit card. I paid most of that off except for $1,800, and it was like $3,000 for the whole vacation. The hotel for 2 rooms plus all the adventure stuff we were spending in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And so when we did that, and I paid as much as I could at the time, I still have $1,800 sitting on the credit card. So that's where I know my beginning is, as long as I pay everything down to that number. Now, because I pay my card off weekly on our spending and our bills, I don't get charged an interest because I pay way above what they expect me to pay. And so leaving it sitting there is fine. I just have to track the math very closely and try not to make too many mistakes, which sometimes happens. Okay, so grocery household. First thing we got here is this $13.47 at Meijer's. I'm trying to remember what that is. Oh yeah, I remember. We went and picked up some mozzarella cheese, shredded cheese for like lasagna and baked spaghetti and things like that, some pasta dishes. And then I also got some Milo's tea in the individual servings because my husband takes those to work. And so we just picked up a few random items there. And we spent $13.47, and it was like a large bag of mozzarella cheese and some Mexican blend, cheese blend. I think that's what it's called. And then here I have Love's for $10.19 since I didn't have a car, and we prefer bottled water for where we're living at. My husband picked up a large case of bottled water at a Love's truck stop while he was out doing his job and driving around, and paid for that. And I counted it as a grocery item because normally I would buy my cases of water at the grocery store, but I was running low, so I did that. And that way he didn't have to go back out on Monday evening once he got home just for this one item. So that's why we did it that way. I did have a no spend on Sunday. And then Amazon for $35.37. What was that? Okay, for this here order, it's grocery household. I combined everything together, $35.37. At Amazon, I ordered some supplements. My husband and I take magnesium, highly absorbent magnesium before we go to bed at night. It just helps relax the muscles and kind of lulls you to sleep a little bit. And it's definitely something that has helped us quite a bit. My husband wanted something personal for him, so he got a personal item, and then we got 2 outdoor faucet covers. Normally, lawn and garden section of our grocery store would have that, and I would have included it in grocery household. It's not really a household, but it's such a small item for $10. I just left it, I didn't want to separate it out, so I just left it in that one category. And that was fine because the majority of the money of those categories, most of it goes to grocery household. So that's why I have that. And then I also have another Amazon order here. Oh, nope, I'm skipping one. Meijer's $73.02. That was for some groceries that my husband and I went in the store for. And we purchased, I'm looking at my receipt, like a couple cartons of eggs, mushrooms for one of our recipes. Needed to stock back up on milk and some juice. Just odds and ends stuff of recipes we wanted for the week and stuff that my sons wanted. And then I also stocked up on some ham for Christmas. My family likes ham instead of turkey. We don't ever do turkey. My family just isn't interested. If we want to do that, we do chicken instead of turkey. And sometimes I do both ham and chicken, but most of the time I just do one dish, which is the ham. And so I got enough for Christmas and for Christmas guests. So that worked out pretty good. So that's what the $73.02 at the grocery store was. And then this $21.35 I ordered on Amazon was some supplements that I needed. So they were $10 each plus some tax. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and calculate how much we spent at the grocery store. Make sure I don't have a glare here. All right, we spent a really low number, $153.40 for grocery household. Okay, now we have restaurants, and we only had 2 items, the Friday night pizza night, which was $31.52, and then Buffalo Wild Wings. Both of these were DoorDashed, I think. Yeah, they were DoorDashed. And that's all the eating out we did for the week. Again, no car, no ability to get around and stuff. I mean, we had ability, but it started getting like colder weather and just yucky and felt like, I don't want to go anywhere. So we stayed in our nice, warm, cozy home and ordered takeout. 83, and that was $68.35, which is excellent. I like this kind of slow, barely spend kind of week. It definitely puts me in the mindset that I don't need to spend as much or stock up the way I am. I'm rethinking that a little bit. I am planning on eventually buying a deep freezer. Now, I might do it this weekend or next weekend when the sales are happening, just because we don't have a big enough fridge or freezer to put everything in, and it's getting complicated. And so I'd like to put one out in the garage, and it's right next to the kitchen, so that works out pretty well. Next we have miscellaneous. So miscellaneous, on Saturday night I ordered a movie on Prime Video. It's actually a Hallmark movie, and it's one I get in the mood to want to watch pretty regularly throughout Christmas. And that was $7.04. I had a little bit of digital credit cash back, and so it lowered the price. I think it was $8.99. It lowered the price, and I think it was $8.99, so that lowered plus tax. So that's what I have there. And that was a Journey Back to Christmas. It's a Candace Cameron Bure movie where she kind of time travels from the 40s to the 2016. I'm not sure what year she comes to, but it's definitely where she was in the 40s, and now here she is. So I thought that was really fun, and I don't have to wait for Hallmark to play it, and I can watch it whenever I want. So the $58.40 I spent on my monthly planner from Erin Condren for next year in 2025. That way I can continue putting down beautiful stickers and tracking all the things I'm used to tracking. I just wasn't in the mood to change the planner style that I was using, so that I can continue everything I'm already doing right now. And when it looks good, I love coming back to it. So that's why I do this stickers and colorful things in my notebook, so that I can enjoy coming back and budgeting. This is how I get myself and give myself an incentive to come back. And total this up. 704 plus 58.40, and that gives us 65.44, which is pretty good for miscellaneous. I just wanted to treat myself a little bit and prepare for next year. I've not decided how I'm doing my other channel and the planner for that. I'll probably do the same thing I always done, but this is what I'm doing this year. I really like that. Next we have is copays. So we have the $6.25. That was one of my prescriptions. And then my son had his prescription. There we go. And that was $12.32. $6.25 plus $12.32, and then that was $18.57 for prescriptions. Still have not been charged or billed the appointment at the end of October, and it's almost the end of November, so it's taking a long time. I'm just going to leave that extra money put in there to cover the $50, $25 for me and $25 for my other son, one of my sons, and that will go ahead. That will be, how do I want to word this? That will be just sitting there until something happens. So I might move it into my sinking funds and just let it sit there and then pay the credit card when it posts. And if you weren't aware, and this is your first video, at the beginning of the month I added $50 knowing this charge was supposed to happen, and it hasn't. So I'm not sure what I'm not sure what's going on. So that's where we're at right now. And then I had some bills. So let's just stick with the weekly check-in. So I have all my transactions. I have my totals. We'll do the bills in a second. That's how I total up what goes to the credit card. But now that I've checked everything off from the 15th through the 21st, and I had 2 no-spend days, which is nice, mainly because I didn't have a car. We're going to come over here. Oops. And on this notebook, this side, we're going to put what we spent. Okay, here we go. $153.40. And I think I want to total as I go. So we had $826.63 minus the $153.40 is $600. and $73.23 in grocery and household. That is plenty for the last week of November, where there's only 1 week left, and next week is Thanksgiving. The last 2 days of the month actually kind of go to the next month, just because of how my husband gets paid. Even though all the money happens at the first of every month, one of those checks, a salary check, actually comes in on the 30th of the previous month, and I use it for the first of the next month. So it may come in 1 month, but I count it for the next. And because the money is there and it's kind of as part of a total whole, I can use that as the last day or two of the month as part of the starting date for my spending categories going into the next month. It just works. I've been doing it a couple months now. It just works for me. It just doesn't look like it's in the same month. That's all. All right, so I have plenty going into next week. If I need to buy stuff for Thanksgiving, if I need to buy dinner stuff or stock up on some more items before the holidays, if we want to bake anything or whatever, that I have enough to get regular groceries as well as get what I need for that. Next, we're moving to restaurants, and we're doing so good this month on restaurants. $260.17 minus the $68.35. And that gives us $191.82. And that's way more than enough. I definitely like seeing this. If my husband and I can pay attention more, maybe we can spend less on eating out, but we do enjoy going eating out. So it's a toss-up. Now, I am doing the check marks over here because I've already made the payment to the credit card, and that's when I usually put check marks. You can put any kind of notes here if you're doing this in your own notebooks, and titling it the same way if you just want to make a note for I need so much amount for the next week or whatever you want to put. That's just what I use that for. Next thing I have is miscellaneous, and that was $65.44. And we're taking $204.66 minus $65.44, and that gives us enough for next week. Definitely $139.22. I might take some of this and put it towards Christmas shopping because we spent heavily in our sinking funds where I keep Christmas and gifts and stuff. So yeah, I might use some of the miscellaneous to cover that. Gasoline. Let's see, there was no gasoline. There was copay, and so let's put this here, $166.89. And with my car in the shop, I still have gasoline in it, three quarters of a tank, so we should be good to go. And then copay, $145.84 minus the $18.57. And so $18.57, and then that was $127.27 that was left. Unbudgeted was $0 because everything was taken out of the sinking funds instead of the checking account because there's not a lot of room in the checking account. I do have maybe $100, $118 still as a buffer in the checking account, but I don't want to touch that. I want to leave it in there. Everything you see here is reflective of the checking account and how I pay the credit card. Everything comes into one location and it dispersed from there, and either the credit card, a savings account, or something like that. So I don't pay for things or use a card online unless it's the credit card, so that it's separate from the checking account, and then I can go back and make sure there's no fraud, and I can go back and make sure that everything, the numbers line up exactly the way I have them in my notes. And I keep track of that pretty closely every day. So that is the weekly check-in. We are looking good. There's only 1 week left in the month, so this is what I have for the entire week. That's a pretty good amount of money. I don't have anything here for week 5. I always put week 5 stickers because sometimes I break my month into 5 weeks just to make it easier on myself. But this month and the last month, it was 4 weeks. But if I total these up, this is basically what's sitting in my checking account because I have already paid all of our bills because I've already paid the spent transactions over here. And let's see if I can come up with the number that I have available for spending in the checking account. And I do. I mean, seriously, I'm just sitting here on $1,200. Now, I have spent quite a bit. I'm sitting probably at $1,000 because I have spent $241.91. That's next week, and this $50. So about $300 of this I've already spent. So I'm sitting right at $1,000 or just under for as far as spending categories that are sitting in my checking account. That money is earmarked for. Let's see. Here are my bills. This is my bill calendar. I do this in the beginning of every month and how I set up everything. As you can see, everything's been checked off the 15th through the 21st. I only had 2 bills that are highlighted in blue. This is what that highlight tells me they are charges that go to the credit card. And actually, I think I was supposed to mark one more and I did not, and that was it. Let me go grab my highlighter just to make it consistent. I kept thinking, why do I only have 2 bills when I know there's more? So it's the same highlighter I use for eating out, but when it's on here, it means that there's a bill that went to the credit card. All right, so I have the AT&T bill. I put 41 originally, it's 81. I already marked that in my planner as far as my actual. Where's the AT&T? Oh, it's supposed to be 81. There we go. I'm glad I caught that and looked at it, but that's what it is. And then I had $2.99, which is my storage on my iPhone, and then I have $39.17, which is my husband's bill. So that's the others that I have to pay, that I had to pay. All right, so that's $327.97 plus the $65.44 plus the $18.57 plus the $68.35 and plus the $153.40. So we paid back the credit card $633.73. So that is the weekly check-in for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know one single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me.